go.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Good.
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just looking at properties, trying to navigate this market. It's a bunch of fun.
It's not easy for sure, and there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding us in the near future. So, yeah, I feel bad for all involved in the industry as well as any buyers and potential sellers out there.
You know what's crazy though is I just got another one today. I've gotten 4 buyer referrals in the last week, 7 days. I've gotten 4 buyer referrals. Like people are still ready to go, and you got to buy, you got to buy, you got to sell, you got to sell. I mean that adage holds true, I guess, but it's still, I mean, with rates and everything, people are still ready to get out there because I don't know. You probably feel the same way. I think there's deals to be had. Like I think now's a good time to get a deal.
Of course, no, I completely agree. There's no shortage of buyers. Pre-approvals are still being done every day. Again, we have moved away from pre-approvals to pre-commitments. Those are more formal approvals that are issued by the banks, not by the loan officer. These are fully vetted approvals. So yeah, we're doing that. We're trying to position buyers to the best of their ability so that they're differentiating themselves from other potential buyers to get whatever little advantage that they can get.
And that's what you have to do. Like every advantage, like you said, has to be taken care of. Like I know I love when they get a pre-commitment, first of all, because it's like, hey, look, we're one step further than potentially buyer B. Here's what we do. And then another thing that, I mean, I probably started doing it since COVID, and I think you saw the emails because things moved in such a fast pace. It's like when we're submitting an offer, it's like I'm calling my home inspector, Ralph Lush, Home Inspections, plug, he's the man. Like, yo, Ralph, you good tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. if we get an accepted offer for home inspection? Like, if he's, yeah, I'm good, or like 3 in the afternoon, I could do good. That's written into the offer. Like, if our offer is accepted tonight, we're prepared. We have a home inspection scheduled for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Here's our attorney information. Please send the contracts over. Like, everything to just move as fast and quickly as possible to show that, like, hey, these folks are ready to buy. They're not looky loos. Was that was from your other videos that I saw? Like they're ready to go. Like these folks are ready to go. Let's move. Come on.
It really shows the buyer's commitment to purchasing a home, takes any uncertainty out of the equation for a seller, and it shortens the buy cycle. So I mean, there's win-win in every direction. So yeah, I encourage everybody to do it, especially for those buyers that do have lesser money to work with. It's even more paramount to do that. So it does make that risk.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not looking to go, or if it's a competitive property and you don't want to go very high over asking, and you want to put in a competitive offer but not break the bank, I mean, that's definitely, those are the steps I think that should be taken. Just to make yourself more appealing to the seller, because ultimately that's what we got to do. It's price and terms always. It's always, but terms sometimes can be just as important.
To close faster could be motivation that the seller needs to choose you. So having your ducks in a row and being prepared, having a team of professionals that work together, that have experience together, definitely makes that happen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's like the biggest thing is just, I think, showing that, like, hey, this is from top to bottom, like we're a professional operation here of what's happening. That's, I try and make the offers as like, this is already a pre-planned, like this is a cookie cutter approach to how we handle our offers and our accepted offers and our business. Like, you're going to know every step. Like, here it is, boom, 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 boom. Like, here's what I need you to do. Here's what we're going to do with the buyer. Let's get ready. Let's rock and roll. You're going to have no issues if you're working with us, and if we have an issue, we're going to talk about it. We're going to know about that up front.
Right? Because at the end of the day, we're all working together. It just makes the process that much more sense. We're all working in unison. You have people that are not familiar with each other. Some people are not open, playing nice in the sandbox, right? So, yeah, it definitely makes a difference when we have a team that knows each other and works well together.
Yeah. And you know what, I got a referral last week from my financial advisor, which is awesome. He's been sending me clients lately, which I guess works out for Chris too, because if he's sending me clients, then I'm investing more money. So no, but he's a great guy. He sends me a referral, and these two people were really, I love their approach. They have an apartment in the city right now. They can afford to carry a property on a mortgage, so they're looking to maintain their city apartment, and they're going to buy upstate, like maybe Beacon, somewhere that's like a decent Hudson Valley town, that has something to offer. And their plan is right now, because rates are high and things are expensive, they're going to buy a property that they can short-term rent when they're not there. So like they're going to rent it some weekends, live in it some. And it's just, I mean, that's not a solution for the majority of people, but at the same time, it's like that creative way of thinking, I think is smart. And I think if buyers, we're always trying to preach some creative alternatives and creative ideas for purchasing that makes these rates and this situation a little more bearable. Like the first question I'm asking my new buyers right now, are you willing to have a tenant? Because if you are, let's search for OSC outside entrance on MLS. Let's try and find something that has a basement with an outside entrance that you can rent out for, but I mean, you can get a couple, like $1,100, $1,200 a month in a lot of places. You got the banging over there. I can't hear it at all.
Well, I mean, yes, obviously there's something to be said about, legal and versus illegal apartments, right? If they're illegal, it's pretty prevalent here on Long Island. I'd say a lot of people do it, not necessarily legally, but you always run that concern of like a neighbor or somebody has an issue, and then you find yourself in a little bit of trouble. But again, it's one of those things where a lot of people do it. There are programs that are actually available to support that. Freddie Mac actually has a program that you have a basement apartment, as long as you have an egress window, an outside entrance, and no inside access, they will actually allow you to use projected rental income for that unit to be applied towards your qualification. So that's pretty fascinating. And again,
that's huge.
It doesn't have to be legal, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you want to, if you're going to do that, you want to go the legal route. You don't want any potential issues, down the road, like not having egress windows and everything. But that's huge. Like I never knew that. What a great program.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, not too many people know about it. I mean, again, it has to get by appraisal. It's going to have to go and identify that you have the outside entrance, the egress window. The interior access to me is always going to be a little bit tricky because most homes, in my opinion, will have interior access. It's hard to say this, but like worst case scenario, if you needed to, maybe we just have to close out the door. But it's not typical that you have to. More times than not, it kind of gets looked over. But that's again, it's an opportunity for somebody that may be wanting to look at a house that's a little bit outside their budget, but has that opportunity and possibility of rental income. Well, having this program could push them over and allow them to secure that property that they might not have otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, again, doing it legally, doing it the right way, and potentially bringing in. I mean, and look, like when I was younger, I had plenty of friends that would have rented out my legal basement apartment, and right now, I mean, so many of these apartments are going for over $1,000 a month. So you think about that. I mean, that's your property taxes done. It's just another strategy to look at and consider. Like, okay, look, I don't want to do this forever. Like maybe I don't want a tenant forever. But in the meantime, if I have a good friend you know, that's like got their stuff together and is a person that you love, and it's like, hey, you know, do you want to rent out here for a little while? That could be a huge, huge financial security blanket for you in those first few years before potential refinance.
Actually did that exact thing. My wife and I, the first house that we bought, lived in Kings Park, we had an outside entrance. We did that for probably the first 5 years. At the time, I think we even got about $900 a month. That's going back, I would say, over 15 years ago. We did it until we had two children and we needed that space, but it was a great way to, to kind of offset the expense of home ownership. It was the first house that we bought. And we kind of used that as our mad money. We lived on that, and then everything that we made went to everything else, and it worked out very well for us. So, proof is in the pudding for sure.
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, and then that's one of the things I'm telling people to look for. And then I'm always looking, you know, like, I mean, we're buying with the hope of refinancing, right? We were talking about this, like just having that, like the monthly is going to be, if you could live with the monthly for now and then potentially improve that down the road, that's a big deal. And then how much you improve it could have really, really significant benefits for you. Like I would, like I'm always looking for properties that cosmetically are not super appealing, but not falling apart. So, you know, like I guess they call like the lipstick flips, right? Like something that just needs a lot of cosmetic. Maybe it needs a carpet pulled up, but like I always say, I get this all the time in like all my emails, like the biggest return on investment for your money when you do any type of remodeling is hardwood floors. Like the return on investment is like 110%. So if it costs you $6,000 to refinish or rip up that carpet and refinish hardwood floors, you're getting that plus some back on the overall value of the investment, which is huge. You know, that's great for when you refinance, right? Because I mean, if you build more equity in for that future appraisal, that's going to help your bottom line, right? When you refinance, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
If went into purchasing the house with limited down payment money, then absolutely, right? If you put only 5% down, but then next year and a half, 2 years, with some appreciation and home improvements that you put into it, maybe there's an opportunity where now you refinance and you don't have to give up, but you have created, a stronger equity position. Or even if you don't create that much equity in it, PMI is something that is calculated by credit score and loan to value. So maybe you only put 5% down, so your PMI calculation is going to be a little bit higher than it would be if you were securing a loan at, say, 90%. So PMI would actually be lower. So not only would you get a rate benefit and a reduced monthly payment by paying less for interest, but you will also get a reduction in PMI. So it'll be twofold. So 100%.
And I mean, that's in the end, I mean, you know, if you're talking about a couple $100 a month, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, and people don't think long term. It's hard to, especially when you're like, you know, fighting tooth and nail to make your monthly payments and everything. But long term on the life of that loan too, the amount of interest you're saving, I mean, that's a benefit too. You're saving way more long term than you are in that month to month.
One of the biggest concerns, though, for people, especially first-time home buyers, just being able to see the big picture, right? And also being able to come up with the resource needed to not only put money down, but then to do any repairs that the house may need. So there are renovation loans out there where you're able to roll in home improvements into the transaction. So that's a resource for people. Through programs like Sony May, they have a program called Remodel New York. They also have something called NRP, which is the Neighborhood Revitalization Program. That in itself can give somebody about $20,000 for necessary repairs, things that create a health or safety issue, or perhaps need new windows, maybe a roof, a burner, really things that are necessary, not cosmetic. It's not for that. It's really for true health and safety related improvements. There's also CECLI, it's Community development program on Long Island, having a bunch of success, a little bit of, you know, a little bit of, I'm so sorry. It sounds like somebody's trying to play an instrument above me. Did you hear that? Did you hear this? You're on mute. You muted yourself, John.
Oh, I'm muted. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I heard that. That sounded great. It sounded like someone was rocking out in there.
Can't control the elements, right? But at any rate, what I was saying is that so CDCLI offers some great loan structuring. So one of the things, if you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking to put less than 20% down, they're offering a secondary mortgage in conjunction with a primary, and the idea behind it is to avoid paying PMI. And to your point, it's a great way to save $150, $200 a month because their secondary loan, 30-year fix, and the rates are between 3 and 3.5%. So, you know, if you're buying say a $500,000 house, you probably put say $50,000 on a secondary mortgage, avoid paying PMI, and a big chunk of your loan is now at a very, very attractive rate. I'll give you an example here. So I have a client that just is actually closing this afternoon. They bought a property for $380,000, believe it or not, and they were putting 10% down. So we were able to get them a $38,000 second loan at 3.25%. And in addition to that, they received another $35,000 in forgivable grants. 15,000 of it was for down payment, and another $20,000 was for post-purchase repairs. That is completely forgivable over time. You know, so these are huge benefits to first-time home buyers that probably don't know that these things exist. So now you don't have to worry about coming up with down payment and repairs. There are programs out there that can support them.
I feel like every time I talk to you, there is another program that you enlighten me about, and it's like you know everything. I feel like about these programs, like I mean, it's a damn good amount.
Yeah, well, I've been originating for 20 plus years. I would hope so, but yeah, it's just it's really amazing what's available to people. But you have to start with a consult and see what it is that they're eligible for. Then you just start pointing them in the right direction. I have another one that we're in the midst of working with that buying a condo that needs a bunch of TLC. They're actually putting only 3% down. We're utilizing Sony May, so we're getting a heavily discounted rate on the primary mortgage. We are getting down payment assistance through that through Sony May, and then we're also combining that with CDCLI, so they're getting a reduced second mortgage for 17%, right? We're only putting 3% down. That they got a 3.5% rate. But in addition to getting $13,000 from Sony May, they're getting another $30,000 from CDCLI. So they're getting over almost $45,000 livable money to purchase a house. That's incredible.
That's huge. I mean, especially now, it's like more important than ever. Like, so having those options is unreal. Like, that is great.
Going back to what you were saying before, so now you're taking these funds and you're putting it into the home, you're increasing their value so that when rates do come down at a later time, now you have established that much more equity in there, and you probably even lower your monthly payment even more. And structuring these loans in these two loan structure, the nice part about it is when you refinance the primary, you keep the secondary, what we call subordination. And you just subordinate that second loan and just focus on the primary. So you still get that benefit of that secondary loan for the entirety that you have that property.
I mean, so you think about that, like you combine those things and then think about this, because I see this as like in my neighborhood all the time. There's multiple houses with this opportunity, my house being one of them. Just think about having all those things in place, and when you go to refinance, you turned your 3-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom house. I mean, that's drywall in a closet. Like there's houses around here that I know of specifically, again, because I'm in one of them, where there's enough space in one of the bedrooms to actually make it into 2. And my point being, maybe you don't want two smaller bedrooms, but when someone comes in to appraise that house and now you've gone from 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms, I mean, that's instant value, huge value. And what is a bedroom? Drywall and a closet. That's it. Like, you're not doing anything crazy when we say add a bedroom. Like, I'm not talking about bumping out the house or going up or anything like that. I'm saying take a pre-existing room, cut it up, and make it a 4-bedroom house. I mean, you're going to add for the cost to put in a bedroom. I'm going to pull a number out of my rear end here, but to do drywall, to have a full contractor come in and not get fair prices and do it, probably cost you about $7 or $8 grand to do a bedroom, drywall, paint, and everything. Just that, if you already have the electric and everything, and do the closet, probably $7 or $8 grand. That's going to net you another $15,000 to $20,000 on an appraisal when you go from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom house. And again, I don't have data in front of me to support that, but I know what 3-bedroom houses go for compared to 4-bedroom houses. Like, the money's there.
Count is huge in terms of I guess big bedrooms are overrated in my opinion. At the end of the day, going there to sleep, right? So, you know, if you had the opportunity to create another bedroom, increase value, I see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, again, it's not every property has that ability, you know, but that's why I love when there's a floor plan posted on MLS, because it's like, oh, here we go. Here's the information. What can we do? And even, you know, I mean, adding a bathroom is way more expensive, but you know, I know we did this at my mother-in-law's house. She went from, it was a 3-1, but the one full bathroom was so deep, it was like from the front to the back of the house. Cut that in half, made it 2 full baths. You know, and might be a stand-up shower, I don't know, but you could fit 2 bathtubs in it. Like, let's put it that way, the way she redid it. But I mean, you know, that was a costly endeavor because bathrooms are not cheap unless you know somebody. But just even having that ability in your house, like, it's going to come back to you pretty well in an appraisal when you do something like that.
My cousin had a cave upstairs.
I lost you. I don't know. It may be me, but I lost you. I can't hear you for some reason. I'm going to take my headphones out just to make sure it's not much.
Well, I'm returning here. Can you hear me at all?
No, you just came back for a second there.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Picked up. So what I was saying is my cousin had a cave, and it was partially finished upstairs. I think they had a bathroom and a half downstairs. The half was just, I mean, essentially just a toilet. It was really tiny. And they ended up taking a home equity loan before rates went really through. So I forget what she told me they put into it, maybe like $60,000. But what they did was they made the bathroom and a half downstairs into a full bath, one full bath, and they added a full bath upstairs. Upstairs, unfinished portion. They also added a closet to one of those sides, one of the sides of the dormer, so that could be considered a bed. Right now, they're just using it as an open floor space, but they can just put a door there. Now they've created another bedroom. So, to your point, you know, being smart and creative, and there's no doubt that they increased the value of their house substantially.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, like if you need to buy, then, you know, having all these options, like with all the stuff you know about the programs and the loans and what you could do, and then figuring out if there's some creative ways to add value to that home without killing your bank account, you know, without really destroying it, because obviously these things can cost a lot of money. But if you could do it in a smart way, if you have the right realtor, who knows how to look at these things, I mean, you're making an investment. Like, that's really what you're doing at the end of the day, is you're making an investment. I mean, everybody who has a lot of wealth in the world owns real estate, and a lot of it, they don't own one house, they own many. And this is a way that a lot of people build wealth. And I think just that mindset shift is really helpful if you think about it in those terms. It's like, yes, we want the dream home, like we want all the things that we see on TV and we want that to happen. But at the same time, we don't have those opportunities right now because just from an inventory standpoint, we don't. And if you want all of that, it's to find everything that everybody wants in their budget is really difficult. So it's like, all right, let's figure out, again, instead of I feel like nobody wants to start a home anymore. Like the starter home is like a thing of the past, but let's, instead of finding the starter home, let's just find like the forever home that is at a starting point that's a little bit further back than where you initially thought. Like racers start in like a certain order, right? I think depending on your rank. So like, let's just pick a house that starts a little further back and is going to take a little bit more to get to the finish line. And potentially, like, you're going to get everything you want. It's just a little longer term play.
The other thing to think about too is, I understand your point about buying a house that's already done, even ready, but you're buying somebody else's space, you're buying somebody else's vision. Why would you not want to make it your own and do that from the beginning? Sometimes it makes more sense. Again, there are programs out there. We talked about renovation loans. We talked about some of the programs, so many, grant money. But sometimes it's a matter of as simple as maybe putting less money down, taking a larger mortgage, hold on to your cash, go fund the renovation work yourself. So that's another solution too. So it really just comes down to the numbers. Working with somebody that has experience and knows about these different programs, different ways to structure your loan, that's really what's most important.
And let's not forget this, because I mean, your kids are older now. My kids are little. I bought a house that was turnkey. They are destroying it. Destroying it. So if you plan on having kids and you want a turnkey home and you're going to have kids, just know they're going to destroy your house. That beautiful turnkey home that you have is going to be destroyed. In hindsight, like, yes, I love that the house is done because there's a lot of comfort in buying a house that has, like, I mean, I look for now things with buyers like, how old's the roof? How old's the boiler? How's the foundation? And at central AC and electric panel, what are we looking at? Because those are your big ticket items right away. Everything else on the inside you could change. And guess what? I don't care how nice and new it is. If you have little kids running around that house, if you have family members with little kids and they're over there every day, they're going to ruin it. It's just a fact.
For a time. And then the other thing to think about too is in 10 years from now, everything that's in your house that's new that you love is going to be outdated. You're going to want to replace it anyway.
Well, all right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's inevitable, right? I mean, you always are going to look to continue to update your home. It's just the way it is.
All right, now you want to hear something crazy? So the other day, I'm watching a movie before I pass out at 8 o'clock because I'm a loser. No offense to anybody who passes out at 8 o'clock, but I can't. I wake up early, so I'm watching. So Bad Boys 2 comes on, and I'm like, damn, when did Bad Boys 2 come out? I think it came out in like 2001. Now here's the crazy thing: you're just talking about stuff going out of style. You have to look at the kitchen of Martin Lawrence's character in Bad Boys 2, and it was I guess a house in Miami 2001, but it is literally like what we're seeing now is like, white subway tile, like a kitchen. I was like, wait a minute, is this like the first time? Did this start the trend, this movie? Like, did it happen here? Because I don't remember ever seeing a kitchen like this, but I saw this movie. So did people see this, and was it subconsciously like, oh, white subway tile, white countertops, white cabinets, we got to do everything white? Oh my God. Like, when you watch that movie, it's within the first half an hour, it's crazy. It's like, wait a minute, this kitchen was 2001. Something's not right here.
Old friends, they're all cyclical, right? They go out of style, they go back into style, right? Kind of the way close of life, I guess. But yeah, it's funny how home improvements take on a life of their own. They start with one, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe we should do this, or maybe we should do that. So never know what you're going to get when you own a house, but at the end of the day, it's all about generational wealth. You're not going to create it unless
That's it. You gotta own the home. You're never gonna create it renting. Let's put it that way.
You know, and one last thing before we wrap up here today. I mean, I know that, you know, you hear a lot of information. Comes a few points, and, you know, the reality is nobody knows the rates, right? I don't think anybody really thinks that in the low sevens, well, September 1, 2023. You know, they are projected that they're going to come down to 24 and 25. So they should. You know, I can't imagine that going to continue to rise. Just that you never know. So we just focus on the fact that it's time in the moment, right? And you had said earlier, if you can manage the payments, that's really the most important. The most important. So, because eventually, in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5. And I think we talked about one of the programs that we have called Breaking Down. So if you end up securing a property today at a higher interest rate, we offer up to $3,500 of like a credit for their future refinance. We don't charge on New York State mortgage reporting taxes, called a SEMA, stands for Consolidation Extension Modification Agreement. It's basically saying consolidated with the mortgage, just pay tax for the loan, new loan. We net out your escrow, so we basically get virtually a free finance. So keep that in mind when you are selecting lenders out there. Find out what their finance opportunities are. A lot of banks don't have this ability because they don't service their loans. Once they originate loans, they're selling the loan and servicing to other parties. So we do service our own loans. We're going to give like $100 billion of loan servicing. So we don't keep your loan accounts. Would get that benefit of
That's huge. I mean, and I would say just this too, to wrap it up. Like you said, I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but right now, like, is it a great time to buy? No one wants these rates. No one wants 7%. Like, it's expensive to buy, but it's not going to be any better when rates come down, because the amount of people that come into the market ready to buy is going to be huge. There is a huge amount of people waiting on the sidelines. And when rates come down, again, in your mind, it's like, well, there's a deal now. Like, there it is. Like, rates are 5.5%, 6%. If rates come down to 6.5%, it's like, to me, it's like, oh my God, what savings? You know, like, and it is savings. You know, it's probably like 100, 150 bucks a month. You know, from where they are now, somewhere around there. Don't quote me. Again, making up numbers, but any savings right now is great. But someone's going to come in, and right now you might be like, you know, I did an open house recently. Like, you know, we had 2 offers on the property, you know, and it was in a more expensive price range. But right now, if you're in a like, I would say the $300,000 to $600,000 price range, you're still getting multiple offers. It's competitive now. We did another open house. The house went $100,000 over asking. That's going to continue and get worse when more buyers come into the market. So right now, like, if you're buying in that $600,000-$700,000 range, there's a little bit less competition right now. But when rates do eventually come down, it's going to get so much more competitive in every single price range. And you're going to have to overbid way more than you would right now, potentially going in for a property.
You say the rates come down, even if the rates go 6%, probably enough to fuel a lot of buyers to get off the fence, but it's still not going to push people to sell their home. Rates 8, 2, 3, whatever they have, they're not going to want to trade, and I don't think that's going to happen. So there's a 5, maybe 6. How long that's going to take.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it's they always say don't time the market, right? Or don't try and time the market. Like, if it's, I think now, honestly, I don't want to say it's a good time to buy, because it's not. I'm not trying to be disingenuous. Like, it's a hard time to buy, but it is the potential for you to get a deal on price, because you're not getting a great deal on interest, except if you can roll in a bunch of these programs. You're getting a deal, which is helpful in the interest, but you can get a deal on price right now. And that's something that you can't change. You could change your interest rate at some point, hopefully. Can't change the price. So if you get a deal on price, it's not a bad idea to take that deal and run with it.
Well, John, it's good catching up with you again. If you need anything, you know where to find me. And I guess our information will be below.
Yes, sir. We'll take care of all that.
All right, brother. Stay well.
You too.